Why was South Africa involved in this battle fighting against the Germans?
Outnumbered, attacked on three sides, and practically decimated, these men did not retreat. But to understand why South Africa fought at Delville Wood, we must rewind to the South African War of 1899 to 1902, the Boer War. Remember that the British scorched-earth policy during that conflict left deep scars. Yet just over a decade later, as you say, General Louis Botha sent South African troops to fight alongside the British in the Great War. His aim? To restore relations with the British Empire and, at the same time, drive the Germans out of Southwest Africa, today's Namibia.
So, John, this is such an interesting shift from enemies to so-called brothers in arms, I guess. So we've also got to remember why Southwest Africa, Namibia as we know it today, was so strategically important to the South African leadership. The country has natural resources like diamonds, its strategic location for trade and military purposes, and also its potential for European settlement. Now, it had been a German colony since 1884, but when Britain declared war on Germany in 1914, South Africa saw its one chance to rid the continent of at least one of their colonial oppressors.
But the decision to fight faced fierce opposition at home. The Boer Revolt, also known as the Maritz Rebellion, after one of its leaders, Manie Maritz, erupted in September 1914 as many Afrikaners resisted this new alliance with the British.
And John, this rebellion was actually crushed by Botha himself when his government declared martial law, defeating the rebels by February 1915.
Manie Maritz fled to German Southwest Africa, Namibia. Botha's attention then shifted to the global conflict. At the time, there was political change taking place in South Africa. The South African Native National Congress, SANNC, later to become the ANC, formed in 1912 as the first nationwide African political group. In August 1914, they and other groups decided to support the war effort in the vain hope that the fight might bring them political recognition and improved civil rights at home.
They weren't officially allowed to bear arms, so that encouraged them to form the South African Native Labour Contingent and to take part in the conflict as unarmed labourers, drivers and support staff, around 25,000 men, and they became vital to the British Empire's war machine.
The South African invasion of Southwest Africa began on the 14th of September 1914. In the first flurry of fighting, 200 men were killed in action and 263 wounded. But 10 months later, 4,740 German soldiers, along with 37 field guns and 22 machine guns, surrendered.
And once that war was over, Smuts sent the 1st South African Infantry Brigade to Egypt to help suppress the Senussi rebellion. From there, they headed to France and the trenches on the Western Front.
The South African infantry docked at Marseille on the 19th of April 1916. After a brief quarantine to avoid typhoid and, can you believe, the plague, they marched to the train bound for the front.
Now, did you know, John, they had a full Scottish pipe band, they wore kilts, and had an actual Springbok mascot called Nancy, who led the regimental march through the streets of France. It must have been quite the spectacle, a real Scottish influence here.
You see, they were attached to the 9th Scottish Division. Volunteers were drawn from Scottish regiments in South Africa, as well as the Caledonian societies. They were a diverse group, including English-speaking South Africans, Afrikaners, and even volunteers from Zimbabwe, which of course was Rhodesia at the time. South African soldiers fought through fire, steel, and shattered trees in a desperate battle for survival. It's little wonder it became known as Devil's Wood.